Ever wondered how musical instruments got into temple worship? Many people point to King David and ask, wasn't that his idea? It's a great question, especially when you think about David's life. He was a man after God's own heart, but he also made some serious mistakes, like his sin with Bathsheba and the unauthorized census. So, did God just give him a free pass to change how people worshipped? The short answer is no. David, despite his special relationship with God, wasn't above the law. His sins had consequences, just like ours do. God is consistent. His laws are for everyone, and He never authorizes us to break them. To violate God's law is sin, and that always requires atonement. So, David couldn't just decide to add instruments on his own. So, what really happened? The Bible actually gives us the answer, and it's super clear. Let's look at 2 Chronicles 29, verse 25. It says the Levites were stationed in the temple with cymbals, harps, and stringed instruments, according to the commandment of David, of Gad, the king's seer, and of Nathan the prophet. For thus was the commandment of the Lord by his prophets. Did you catch that? The commandment ultimately came from the Lord himself. God gave the instruction to his prophets, Nathan and Gad, who then passed it on to King David. So David was implementing God's command, not inventing his own. The chain of authority is clear. God, then the prophets, then the king. When other passages say it was by the command of David, it's just a shorter way of saying he was the one who executed God's order. This is a great reminder to always gather all the scriptures on a topic to get the full picture. This also explains why Solomon and other kings continued the practice. They were following the practice sense set by God's own authority, not just copying David. Now, some people point to the prophet Amos, who said, "Woe to those who invent for themselves musical instruments, like David." Doesn't that condemn the practice? Well, context is everything. Amos was rebuking the people of Israel, not for their music, but for their lifestyle of excessive luxury and materialism. They were living in fancy houses with ivory beds, eating the best food, and using music for their own selfish entertainment, while completely ignoring God and the poor. Amos was saying their hearts were in the wrong place. They were so consumed with pleasure that they had no room for God. The problem wasn't the instruments themselves, just like there's nothing wrong with having a nice couch. The problem was that their pursuit of luxury had led them away from their spiritual duties. The comparison to David was simply about the act of inventing instruments, not about the context of worship. So, the big takeaway for us is the principle of divine authority. In the Old Testament, God specifically authorized instrumental music for temple worship through his prophets. Today, as Christians under the New Covenant, we look to the New Testament for our instructions on worship. And there, we find the focus is on vocal music singing with our hearts and voices to the Lord. It's all about worshiping God in the way He has directed. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, please give this video a like and subscribe for more deep dives into the Bible. See you next time.